Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm Ellie from Ellie Art Designs. So today I have got a really long video, but it is going to cover so much stuff. So I'm doing another tabletop. This is my third table that I have made a video of. And it is a completely different color combination. It is a light base. It's dreamy. I am gasping as I was painting this because it was just such a beautiful color tones. I am going to show you the full, it's really a full resining tutorial. So everything from what you need to the finish. So if you can stay to the end, if you're interested in that, you will see all of that. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. It really does help me out. It's free. But let's get started. Let's get messy and paint. Okay, here's my tabletop. Same as I've done before. I have prepared the bottom. As you can see, I've just put plastic over it, around with painter's tape to protect the back. And again, just a cheap tabletop. And I have also put resin on top, as you can see. I do find that this is the best way, as much as resin's expensive and you don't want to waste it. So you just put a really thin layer of it on there, and you don't have to worry about popping bubbles as much as, and hair and all that sort of thing. It doesn't matter because you're going to paint over it, but it does help to seal the bottom, just to make sure it doesn't warp. And I have found that to be the best. All right, so I'm going to do a light base this time. Like I always do dark bases when I'm doing tabletops. Because of resin, I think resin looks beautiful on a dark colour. But I've just used this in a painting and I just love the painting so much that I'm going to use this base again. So it's a really light sort of peachy colour, mainly just using global white and a touch of brown, a touch of red in it, just to give it a nice pinky come peachy color really. But you can buy global colors that are almost this color anyway. So anyway, it's a beautiful color and that's what we're going to start with. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stick to my usual flow of things. It just gives me confidence that it's going to work. Who doesn't like some confidence every now and then? Right, do that one. Yeah. No, maybe not. Gosh, it's hard to know what to start with sometimes. So this is my Payne's Grey with Pearl Metallic. So it's got a nice little shimmer to it, and I really love this when it blows out. It's just become my favourite colour. Well, it's not my favourite. I've got lots of favourites. Now I'm going to put the green on. So this is just to give it a little bit of contrast. Now I'm going to put the red on. This is the metallic black with the magenta. I'm not using too many colours with this, for this thing, because sometimes you use too many and you muddy it up and the colour you're trying to make doesn't end up working. So I am just going to minimalise this a little bit. That's my rose gold. And just topping it off with some Pearl Metallic. All right. All right, give it some movement. Right. Another torch. Okay, here we go. Now for the fun part. All right, where am I going to start? Ooh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, I just love these colours. Ooh, yeah. So pretty. I'm going to do a bit of blowing out just to give it a little bit of transparency in places. I don't need to do a lot. It's a lot more colour on the table. Oh, that is really gorgeous. Don't need a lot more. All right, let's do some finger swiping. I actually like it quite a lot, just like that. But let's do what I do. Oh, that's pretty. All right. I'm going to use the edge of a brush, just a small brush, just to not overdo the finger swipe sometimes, and your finger can be too thick. I think I have almost made the base disappear, but it's still there and it's just filled with flour, and I just absolutely love this. This is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to give it a bit of a torch and then take it up for a close-up. I'll create a few cells. Ooh, look at that. I don't like to overdo it because you can lose your picture and you can lose your gradient. Just enough. Oh, I love that. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. No, I love that. I mean, you could do the whole lot if you wanted to have a lot of cells, but I don't like to overdo it. I might just a little bit here. There we go. Whew. Oh, that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let me take you up for a closey. Oh, it's such a gorgeous colour. Oh, I just love it. All right, let's see what we've got when we go closer. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Look at those cells popping up. This is going to look beautiful resined. I'm so scared I'm going to drop the phone into the painting, you know. Look at that. Yes. What beautiful colours. Absolutely beautiful. I just love how they complement each other. Oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. I love that. All right, let's see it dry and I'll show you the resining process as well. Stay to the end. Okay, my table has dried and it is of course very beautiful. I am just going to show you the process for resining. So these are the materials you will need. You will need to get resin part A, part B. Just trying to see which one's which. Yep. And we're going to mix it 50 to 50. Yep, 50% of each. You will need gloves. I have got 4 gloves here, 2 pairs, because we do need to double gloves. So I'm going to show you the correct way to do things, the safe way to do things. And of course you need a stirring spoon. This cup here I've got is really good for measuring, so you can choose which one you want. I always like to use the mils here. I'm going to make 150, probably 160 mils of combined resin, and we're going to stir it up and get it ready for pouring. All right, gloves first. Okay, I am now double gloved. It is also recommended that you start with B before you put in A, because B is more fluid and A is a lot thicker, so it just puts the runny stuff down the bottom. The other thing is on safety, you really should use a respirator. I don't actually own one yet. I know I need to go and buy one, but I am in my garage and I have opened the door to my garage, so you're going to get a lot of outside noises, including a lot of tweeting birds, but I need to keep myself safe, because I've got to admit that sometimes I've done a lot of resining and I actually feel a bit nauseous. So you might want to check your brand as well as to the non-toxic. This is the brand I use and I get great results, but it is poison. So you do need to sort of look after yourself that way, and I need to do that myself a lot better. All right, so I'm going to put in about 80 mils of B and 80 mils of A. So I'm looking at my mils. I've got to hold it up so I can see when I get to it. All right, so that is, oh gosh, it keeps increasing. No, I've put too much, I think. Hang on. It's better if it's lying flat. I've got 90 in there, so I will need to put 90 of this one in there as well to make sure it's even. If I've got left over, I always put it on some coasters, but I don't have a lot that I need to resin. But we'll just see how we go with that. I'll find something. Oh, okay, so that's 90, I want 180. Okay, I think that's about it. All right, and now we're going to stir it with a very clean spoon. Oh, in this case, stirring stick. And you're going to stir it to mix it. You've got to stir it for about 3 minutes, and make sure that you clear your spoon, push it down again, and keep stirring it, because you've got to make sure it's all completely blended in together. Now it's a bit milky at the moment, as you can probably see. It's very cloudy. It won't be cloudy once I'm finished stirring, and if you stir really fast, you'll get a lot of bubbles. If you stir very slow, it's going to take longer, but you get less bubbles. All right, well, I won't keep you waiting while I stir. We'll come back when I'm finished. Okay, so I have stirred this up. It is still a little bit, it looks cloudy, but it's mainly that it's got a lot of bubbles in it. You can have a look at that. But I can pop the bubbles with my torch and we'll see how we go with that. Also, I've got the leveler on. It's very important that things are leveled. So as you can, I hope you can see that, but that dot, that ball, a bubble is right there in the middle. And I also do it this way just to make sure, and it's in the middle, so everything is leveled. If you don't have a leveler, you can actually download an app on your phone. My phone is kind of occupied at the moment, so I'm using the real deal. All right, the way I resin is I just pour it in the middle to start with. This cup's a bit hard to hold. Just like that, and I do a little bit around the edge, just around the sides. Hope you didn't hear that truck going past. I have a microphone this time, so I'm hoping it will help. All right, so I've still got some left there, and I can use it if I need it. And I just basically just use my hand, and this is why we need 2 gloves. So we can take this one off later when we're doing other things and still have a glove on. It is messy work, but it's got a beautiful outcome. So I'm pushing that to the sides as much as possible. And I probably will need more by the looks of things. Just got to feel it, and you've got to make sure it's really covered properly. Now I do need to do the sides of this table, so I have to make sure I've got enough of that. But I'm just going to leave the sides a little bit to the last thing I do. Oh, it's looking lovely with this painting. The other thing I should mention, which I forgot to mention, is that you should make sure your table or your canvas, whatever it is that you're doing, has been cleaned. Like there's dust that falls on it while it's drying, and you don't want that in your resin. So I have already given it a wipe down. You can, some people use a little bit of alcohol to do that. I just think you're just getting the dust off, and I don't want the alcohol to damage the you know, the painting. So I just sometimes just spray a bit of water on a paper towel and just give it a wipe. In this case, I just gave it a wipe. Well, I'm really loving the effect of this colour. Normally, I always use dark colours to resin, like dark base colours, and this is quite different to resin with a light base. But I'm really liking it. It's giving it a real sort of, I don't know, smoothness about it. Dreamy. I'm just putting a bit more. I'd rather have too much than not enough, because sometimes it pulls away from the side if you don't have enough. The other thing that's really important is the temperature that you're doing this in. So it's not a particularly warm day today, but I have, because I actually put a torch in the cup because I wanted to get rid of some bubbles, so that actually warmed it up a bit. Or you can put it in, you can put your mixture in while it's in the plastic bottle, of course. Put it in some warm water and warm it up that way, because it does really like warm weather, and it's not exactly where I live. But anyway, that's okay. I have the heater on. Sometimes I just stir it in front of the heater, whatever it takes, just warm it up a bit. But it needs to be room temperature when you actually pour it, just to get rid of any other kind of, yeah. It is spring here, so we've got a lot of birds. A lot of birds in a tree that I hate, and I need to chop it down. All right, so I think that's a fairly good cover. It's got lots of bubbles. Still, I might just put a little bit more, because like I said, I'd rather have too much than not enough, and I've made plenty. So, and of course, resin is self-leveling, so it will level itself out. That's why you've got to make sure your canvas is completely flat. So I'm just lightly going over the edges. Of course, if you put too much, it's just going to drip off. So, and what I also will do just before I turn my back on it is make sure the drips underneath have been scraped off. I do have plastic on the bottom like you would have seen earlier. So the painting itself, I've let it dry for a very long time. I've actually been on holiday, so I was able to let it dry for nearly over 2 weeks. So it's well and true. It's really important that your painting has been left to dry, like completely dry, not just the, oh yeah, I can touch it now sort of dry, because paint requires air to dry, which I've learnt the hard way. And so if you put resin over it, it's actually stopping the drying process of your paint. So it's really important that you leave it to dry for at least 5 days. If it's acrylic pouring like that, that really does require a lot of drying time because of the amount of paint you use. All right, so now I can take one glove off, and I have a nice dry glove to get my, I might take both of them off. And now I'm going to torch with dry gloves. Get all the bubbles gone. I do this several times, because even when I think they're all popped, they come up again because there's some underneath that haven't come to the surface, and you don't want to just torch in one spot. You've got to keep moving it because you will burn your resin otherwise. Once I had a flame and it was scary. So I'll leave that for a little while to come to the surface. I can already see a hair that's crept up into it, and I need my skewer for that. So I am very particular about making sure there's nothing that's fallen in. You're always going to get a piece of dust. It's just unavoidable. I wouldn't mind actually investing in an air purifier where it cleans the air. I know there are some artists that do that, and they always have incredible results. So, but I'm still learning, and I'm still finding better ways to do things. I'm not going to say I'm an expert. So what I'm doing is just trying to catch the light, looking for anything that may have fallen into the resin. And I can see hair that's fallen, dust, hair. I've mentioned before I have a black dog. She lives inside and she does molt. Oh, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to give it another torch and just get rid of all those bubbles. I think I need a bit more gas anyway. Okay, I've filled my torch with a bit more gas. And even when I keep doing this, I can still see bubbles popping. So sometimes you've got to do it several times. I will show later, or it rises to the surface. The other thing I thought I would mention, so when I went to turn the camera off, I have got 2 cameras here, and the little camera actually fell in my resin here on my painting. So another tip is always have a little bit of alcohol. I can't even remember the name of it, but anyway, just because that is going to help you get resin off other things. All right, if you get it on your hands, I spray them with the alcohol and it cleans my hands. Look, I have even had resin in my hair. If you catch it early enough, you can try and get it off with alcohol. I have had to do the odd haircut because I didn't catch the resin in my hair. But anyway, so I'm going to leave this to dry. I've got a huge container that I will put over this to keep it from having anything else falling in it. All right, I've got to make sure it's not touching the sides. It's really clear. I can see it through it, and I can see if there's any dust that happens to fall in. This container I have actually cleaned. I've sprayed it with water. I got a paper towel and cleaned it, because I've even had it where a hair has fallen in after I've checked it all, put a container on. I think, where did that come from? So you've just got to make sure. I do come and check it several times, and because I can see through it, I can see if something's dropped in it. But anyway, we will see what it looks like dry. It may need a second coat. I don't know. I usually hope, that's why I like to put a little bit more resin on it, in the hope that it doesn't need a second coat, but it means I've got to really look after the drying process. All right, we'll have a check it out when it's all dry. See you soon. Okay, so here's this table. It is all dry with resin. It's just gorgeous. It is so beautiful. I'm so happy with how it's turned out. Just trying to show the glare if I can. Yeah, it's just turned out so beautiful. I might have to give it another coat. I'm not sure. There was a little hair that popped up, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. All right, that's my table. Done again. Another table. All right, we'll see you for the next painting. Bye.